Alright, I gotta get this train wreck of a channel back on track, boys. There has been much done since the last time we spoke. I've recorded a bunch of stuff, but I haven't edited any of it. It's a big mess. I'm just gonna start over and show you what's been done, and then we can go from there. At the time of this filming, it is December 31st, 2025. It has started to get cold. I'm way behind schedule. The snow and ice melted off, so it's gotten a little better up here, but it's probably going to snow again tomorrow. We'll see. I had a guy come with a backhoe, an excavator, I should say, and a dozer, and build me a new road. That's the old road right there. He dug up a bunch of shit there to plate the new road with. The new road is right here. We dug out this made a nice spot to pull off and park stuff. Here's the new road. I need to put a little more gravel on it. He tailgated some on it here, but it's not wide enough, and I can't stay on it very good around these turns. It cost more than I would have liked, but this road is so much better than the old one. I can get the trailer up this road a lot more easily. These water brakes are a little bit too intense for the trailer, I believe. I suspect I'll have to lift the trailer somehow, but we can jump off that bridge when we come to it. It's still a little steep. He had to bring in a hammer for his excavator and punch out a bunch of to get the road decent-ish. But it's fine. I think it's certainly a much better road than I had to begin with. There's the old tractor sitting up there. We cleared out a bunch of trees, leveled this up some up here. I've got so much wood, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with all of it. If I can keep it from rotting up, I can burn it, but man, it's going to take a long time. There's some more over the bank there. I got the rest of my containers in here to build my garage / shop with. There's the original container back there. You can probably hardly recognize the place. Let me pull around here and we'll get out and look around. It's frozen, of course, and when it gets wet up here, this soil is just like sand. It gets so sloppy. I'm gonna have to bring in 2 or 3 loads of like 4- if I can get it, or 2- if I can't, and spread over this whole thing. I think left my headlights on. Hang on a second. There we go. He had to push out that big tree. I kind of hated to do that, but it was right in the way of everything. So the plan here is to put the containers in a U shape right here, then build a roof over top of it, or a roof over top of it, that I can collect the rainwater off of. And then this way is south. All right. So I may still have to clear out some of these trees. It's not bad. Like this time of year, the sun just barely scrapes above the trees there. So I think it'll be all right. I guess we'll see. And then I'll put the solar panels on that side of the roof right there. So that's that plan. I was originally going to put the wall tent down there where you can just barely see where I started to build a frame for it. But I decided instead that I'm going to put the wall tent there where the original container is. So I've got to move all these containers. But I can't do that until I get the stone in here, so I can level this up right and get them where they need to be. I've got a bunch of railroad ties over here to use for kind of a foundation, because I figure since this is so sandy, you know, it's going to settle some. Um, and nothing's going to be level or plumb anymore with those containers. So I'm not going to pour any piers or anything. I'm just going to set those railroad ties across and put the containers on them. And then when they start to get out of whack, I'll jack the containers up and shim them so they stay level. And then hopefully eventually they'll quit sinking, especially if I get some pretty big stone in that sand there. I've done a little bit on Chester too. The solar panels have been up there for a long time, but we're never hooked to anything. I've discovered that in the wintertime, when the sun's so low in the sky, these don't produce enough to keep the Starlink, which is, I don't know if you can see it or not, the Starlink's up there on top, and the heater both running when it's cloudy for more than 3 days. So I've got 400 more watts of panels to put here on top, but I need to tear this wood out and redo this whole contraption up here for that. I bought a mattress on Amazon, one of those ones that comes rolled up and supposed to expand, but it hasn't expanded right. I was gonna just crash out in this thing with the critters until I can get all this stuff moved and get the frame for the wall tent built, because you know it takes a while to get up here, and if I don't just get up here and do it, I'm gonna keep screwing around, you know what I mean? Like, it's too troublesome to come up here and work on stuff and then go back to the shack, you know? I need to get up here and just do it. So anyway, here's the electrical system. That charge controller is not hooked to anything right now. It'll eventually be on these new panels that are going up here, because they're a different voltage than the original ones and a different size, so that they'll fit in front here. There's a space between these two for the Starlink and the vent, but and they extend back that way, and then the next 400 watts of panels will cover the whole roof here in this area right here. But yeah, they're a different voltage, 200 watt panels instead of 400 watt panels. The 400 watt panels are hooked to this RBC30. It also does alternator charging. There's the infamous Reliable brand 3000 watt inverter. That's a 300 amp hour 12 volt battery bank with a Chinese BMS in it. I need to make a cover for that so nothing falls in there. And it goes through an SB350 connector, a big Anderson connector like you'd use on a forklift, so I can swap the batteries out if I need to, through this disconnect. And then there's another fuse on the output of that disconnect that's rated for 100 watts. That's a 300 watt fuse on the top there that goes straight to the inverter through that disconnect. And then the 100 watt MRBF hits the top of that wire that goes to there, and then that 100 watt feeds the rest of this shit with number 6 here. That charge controller is hooked up through the fuse block there. That charge controller is connected directly to the top of the fuse. The fuse block's connected directly to the top of the fuse. And then those are my solar disconnects over there. And then I'll have another piece of plywood over here that's got some of the AC stuff on it, because I put a diesel heater underneath of the seat there, but it's not big enough. That's a 2.5 kilowatt diesel heater. I need to put that 5 kilowatt in here. I think it may be better once I insulate it. I've got a bunch of old moving blankets I'm going to hook everywhere, you know, while it's real cold, hook everywhere with magnets. Hopefully that'll keep the heat in. And those are some portable panels, another 400 watts of portable panels. They've got like feet, so I can set them out away. And I need to make sure, I think they're the same voltage as the new panels are going to be, so I can just hook them up in parallel into that charge controller. But I may have to have another charge controller over here just for those panels. I don't know, because I don't want to I could rig it up so I could unplug one set of panels and plug those in, but I'd rather have all of them charging all the time, even if this time of year the angle's such that it doesn't charge very well. Yeah, it's a big mess in here. Hell yeah. Merry Christmas, by the way. It's going to be crowded in here, but that will make it, that will motivate me to get the damn platform done and get the wall tent set up so I can burn wood instead of diesel fuel. And that old boat tank's got the diesel fuel in it, by the way. I'd originally had a really long exhaust. You probably saw it sitting in here. And I'd run it all the way back along the vehicle exhaust, and it came out right behind the exhaust pipe here, and I had it all like hose clamped on there real nice. But it had to go up to follow the exhaust pipe and go across the rear axle here. And the exhaust line was so long that the moisture condensed out of the exhaust. By the time it got back here, and that low place filled up with water to the point where the diesel heater wouldn't run. So I had to go back to that little short exhaust. But I think it sticks out far enough that it's not going to make anything rust. I don't know. Well, Chester looks a little goofy with these skinny, smaller tires back on him. These are 235 75 15s. But I had to get some studded tires. These were the only pre-studded 15-inch tires I could find. Hankook. I thought at first that they were Giga Chinesium, but a buddy of mine that sells tires said they were actually like Scandinavian or something, so maybe they're not terribly shitty, but they're a good bit skinnier than the mud tires, because they don't plow the main road here. So, you know, those mud tires would be fine if I had four-wheel drive, but I haven't even got the locker in this thing, and a locker on ice is like a recipe for visiting the ditch anyway. At least when you're not actually stuck. Boy, I had a hell of a time getting the old tires off of those rims. I don't know what it is. They're just a tiny bit wider than all the rest of the 5 on 5.5 rims I've got. And oh Lord, it was a mess. Got this old bush hog I brought up here. It's all screwed up. It's not fit to be used as a bush hog anymore. That flywheel, the place where it mounts to the gearbox there is all wore out, and the thing freewheels. It won't latch in there and actually mow. So I was gonna cut the mount off of it here and shorten the PTO shaft. Sits over there, assuming it's not rusted solid. I've got like one of those whirligig like screw type log splitters that I'm going to try to hook onto this thing so I can split wood with the tractor. Log splitters are expensive. But once I've got that container moved, then I can build the platform for the tent, get the tent up, get the wood stove in it. It's nice and wide, plenty of room in that. It's a nice tent for the wintertime. That'll be a good place to live while I finish the trailer. I've got that 16 by 8 by 16 enclosed cargo trailer. I'm going to turn that into my house and park it beside of the container shop thing here and live in that. And then when I go on these big trips to like vintage computer shows and stuff, I can just take my house with me and all the critters. It'll be glorious. And also in the middle of all that old white Ford truck, the old farm truck with the wooden ladder rack on it that you've seen me driving around. It's about time for it to be retired to a parts truck, so I've got to get the old Chevrolet farm truck going again. It needs brakes in the back and a ball joint. It's like 20 degrees. My hands are freezing. Oh. All right. See you next time.